So we've come to a crossroads. I think you see it. We had 7 months of violence in the street from the radical left in America, condoned, encouraged, excused, funded by the left in America. I don't like it. I don't like those people who do that kind of stuff. I'm going to be frank with you. And they don't like us. They don't like people like me. I'm a Christian. I'm a professing, loud, obvious Christian. They don't like people like me. Right? And so the thing is, do we still need to live together anymore? We are decoupling. Do we actually need a divorce? How would that work if we got a divorce? Is it secession? Is it the southern states? What is it? And if you look at the map, it's impossible. 85% of California's geography is red, is conservative, but the population centers are blue. How do you divide that? Go to Wisconsin, it's very similar. Red urban blue urban population centers, the red the rest of the state. The map of the United States is almost all red. Probably by geography, 95% red, but big blue population. You can't divide a country like that. So what do? And why would you want to? See, the world's dangerous. The Chicoms, the Islamo-fascists, the Russians, the drug cartels, they want us to fall apart. And we need to be together to be strong. Does this sound familiar? We don't really like each other. We're a disparate population with different belief systems, different cultures. But the world is a dangerous place. It is 1787. It's no different. We've not changed. What's changed is our system of government. The reason we are so at each other's throats today is because our government has become centralized in Washington, D.C. That is the fundamental problem. So what are our choices? Figure out how to dissolve the country. I don't think that's possible, and I don't think it's a good idea. Or go back to the beginning. Go back to where it all started. Go back to federalism. Go back to limited enumerated powers. Sounds great, right? How do we do that? Like, if anybody's been listening to me, if you've been listening to me, you know how we do it. We call a convention of states, and we propose amendments that take power away from the federal government and give them back to the states where they have always belonged, in a way that our government was intended to function, in a way that it did function, in the way that it has taken us through over 200 years of our history. But go back to where we began, to the formula that actually worked. Go back to federalism. Go into the states. 15 states have passed this resolution so far. It takes 34 states. A lot more are going to do it this year. A lot more understand we don't really have a choice at this point. If you don't want the radical left shoving this stuff down your throat from Washington, D.C., if you're worried about them packing the Supreme Court, if you're worried about them adding states and trying to make it so that we have absolutely no rights in America, if you're worried about your First Amendment rights, if you're worried about your freedom of religion, if you're worried about your gun rights, then you have got to take the power away from D.C. There's not a choice right now. Look, I know there are people out there who are skeptical of a convention. What are you going to do? Like, what's your solution now? Are you going to stand with the Marxists in Washington, D.C. and say, oh, we should elect better people? How's that working for you? We can actually have an amendment that limits the Supreme Court to 9 justices. We can actually have an amendment that prevents them from adding states without a 3/4 majority of states agreeing. We can stop the stuff that the left is trying to ram down your throats. If you're not for this now, if you don't believe in this now, even if you've been against it for a while, if you don't believe in this now, then you are standing with the fascists. Plain and simple. You're standing with the Marxists. You're standing with the people who believe everything in the state, nothing outside of the state, and nothing against the state. That's where it is right now. I'm here live in Philadelphia at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. When you hear the phrase lives, fortunes, and sacred honor, these are the folks we should think of, those who anonymously gave their lives. Well, today you have a chance to volunteer. You need to volunteer for conventionofstates.com, the movement that's going to save the country. These folks are willing to step up and give everything. We need you to give just a little bit. Go to conventionofstates.com and volunteer today.